Hey gang, Justin Adams and welcome back to The Grind. Get ready, it's a new day. Today's message will be about taking risks. You see, most people try to avoid risk altogether and they also try to play it safe. In school, they always want you to play it safe. In investments, when you look at it, they want you to play it safe as well. Society wants you always to get a safe job, right? You see, the big risks I always tell people come with a big reward. But also the same is the other way around. The less risks also come with less reward. So which one do you want, the big risk or the less risk? You see, we can't advance with no risk at all. But I'm going to share with you guys 4 points on why you need to take some risks. The first point is regrets. You don't want to have any regrets, right? The fewer regrets that we have is when we take our risks. You see, when we take risks, we're not going to have those regrets. But most people always look at the research and they talk about people on their deathbed. And they always talk about what they didn't accomplish and what they would do differently. And most of the time it involves them taking more risks. I never hear anybody talking about I took a lot of risks and I wish I didn't take that risk. Most of the time you talk to people and they say, I accomplished so much in my life. However, I wish I would have risked this. You see, most didn't honor their dreams whenever they talk about it on their deathbed when they didn't take any risks. I always say you don't know if you can do it if you don't take that risk, right? Number 2, though. You have to understand that when you take risks, the reward outweighs always the cost. You always need to look at the long term whenever you're taking risks. You see, failing when it happens, it brings you closer to your dream, not farther away. There will always be days, though, I've been there before, that you want to quit, that you don't want to do it anymore. That's normal. That's natural. If it was easy, though, everyone will be doing it. You want to do things that are going to challenge you. Think of the great men and women in society. They always took risks just so it could be easier for the next person that comes after them. Do you think, they were thinking of maybe the cost going into it, or maybe they were thinking about the long term? I think they were thinking about the long term, not the cost, But when you look at number 3, no risk means no growth. Everyone wants to get, better. Everyone wants to grow, right? I would think you want to get better, but you got to make sure that there's risk in that. No risk means you didn't want to go any further. You didn't want to go any higher. One thing I fell victim to in my career was doing less whenever I didn't get the job done. Whenever I failed, I always try to do less. But you should never want to do less. You should never resort to doing less. You should resort to doing more whenever you fail, because that will in the long term get you the result that you want to get. Think of your muscles. If you're trying to get big muscles, you got to always want to do more, not less. Your body will always adapt to whatever it is that it's going through, rather it be stress, rather be lifting weights, but you always want to do more. Number 4, you can't avoid risk, You can't be afraid to fail. When I look at baseball players, I love their grit because baseball players go 1 out of 3. That means for 10 at-bats, they only found the base successfully 3 times. And guess where they end up? In Cooperstown in the Hall of Fame. You see, it's called risk because you can fail. When I look at myself, from college, I graduated from Mercyhurst University, went to go be a stockbroker. I was making 6 figures. I thought I had it made set, but then I ended up leaving there, came to AIL, and the rest is history. You see, my desire to be successful was greater than the risk of failure, and I appreciate Simon Arias for making sure that I came to AIL, and the rest is history. But in closing, gang, Dennis Waitley said, life is inherently risky. There is only one big risk, though, that you should avoid at all cost. And guess what that risk was? That risk is the risk of doing nothing. So ask yourself, what risk are you willing to take? I appreciate everybody for listening and hope this helps someone.
Subscribe today at simonarias.net.